Hello, hello, my lovely angels. This is your girl Sim back with another episode of the Sim Squad. Hi. If you guys know me, you know I love me my Shaghaf Ouds. They're from Swiss Arabian. I have all of them. I remember when I started my Middle Eastern perfume journey, I bought the Shaghaf Oud, the OG. It's a very traditional Middle Eastern blend, a very gourmand Middle Eastern perfume. And I fell in love with it, although it was super traditional, super Middle Eastern. I was like, from day one, I was absolutely in love with it. And then I followed it up with each and every Shaghaf Oud that was released. I was like, I must have it. They all are quite different from each other, which is what I like. They're very, very different, except for Shaghaf Oud and Shaghaf Oud Elixir, which was recently released. So I wanted to share them with you today, one by one. And hopefully I've arranged them in the right order because I want to start with the ones that were released first and the latest ones towards the end. So let's start with the first one, which is of course your Shaghaf Oud OG. It has a beautiful golden bottle, and this is your iconic Shaghaf Oud bottles. They also have the Shaghaf Women and Shaghaf Men, which also I had, and I only used up the Shaghaf Men. The Shaghaf Women, I think I had decluttered it. I was not so fond of it. But the Shaghaf Oud ones, those are the ones that I'm really interested in. The OG is amazing. It's just a sweet oud. Like, there's nothing much to think about it. It's just a cold, sweet oud. The most typical combination in Middle Eastern perfume is rose and agarwood. The most typical one. And I always explain this to you guys. I know I might be sounding like a broken record, but agarwood and rose are something that go along really well with each other, and it's used mostly in all the perfumes over here. The traditional perfumes at least, and oils especially. And then you have something called the mukhallat, which has like 5 ingredients. 5 plus always, but the basic 5 ingredients are usually there, where you add agarwood, rose, but you also add saffron, amber and musk. And then you add other ingredients to the perfume. Now quite a few of these will have that mukhallat and plus ingredients. However, Shaghaf Oud, the top notes are saffron, middle notes of agarwood and rose, and the base notes of again agarwood, praline and vanilla. So it has your basic saffron, rose and oud, but with the added sweetness of praline and vanilla. That's about it. And it's a very simple perfume. When you smell it, the classy part of it is of course the agarwood, because the agarwood is definitely a nice one in this. It's not too animalic, because oud can lean very, very animalic. If you're already into the Middle Eastern perfume journey, you already are aware of the ouds, yeah, different kind of ouds that you get. Some of the ouds that are like generally appreciated are the ones that are the cold, woody oud oils. And the ones that are not accepted very well are the animalic, which I call barnyardy oud, which smells like a barnyard, literally, you know. This perfume is compared to Lancome's Oud Bouquet, but I want to kind of draw the line over there. This is a very basic Arabian perfume. It's a very basic perfume. This is a very traditional Middle Eastern composition, and if you go into the market, literally everywhere you'll smell this. You'll smell Lancome's Oud Bouquet like literally everywhere. So no, I would not say that this is an inspiration for. As a matter of fact, I would think like Lancome Bouquet is an inspiration for traditional Middle Eastern fragrances. This is a very fall-winter perfume. It's unisex, although it's so sweet, a guy can still wear it. They can pull it off because of that strong oud note in it. The projection on this is insane. It's definitely 4 feet, and the longevity is 8+ hours. The presence part of it is very, very strong. The celebrity I assigned to this one, I'm going to give it the ones which I've assigned from the beginning. The celebrity at that time that I've written over here is Shakira, and it kind of makes sense. You know why? Because she is very exotic, she's beautiful, and this does smell very nice in a sexy way. It's a very nice, sexy oud perfume. The color perception for this is like a dark brown, and the temperature is cold. The next one was the Shaghaf Oud Aswad. Aswad is the color black in Arabic. That's your beautiful bottle. Again, it's the same iconic bottle, but it's just black and gold. This is a much more complicated composition. It has incense, a very, very heavy dose of incense. So you must love incense to appreciate this perfume, and you must love strange aromatic notes as well, because this is heavy on your traditional Middle Eastern, but it also has aromatic notes and incense. This is compared to Dolce & Gabbana's Velvet Tender Ouds. Honestly, I haven't smelled that perfume, so I don't know how it smells like. The top notes for this are rose, saffron, woody notes and thyme. Middle notes of rose, agarwood, patchouli, cumin, coriander and jasmine. And the base notes of oud, leather, amber, sandalwood, musk and vanilla. Now this again, I would call it like a more masculine fragrance. It definitely is unisex leaning masculine, but I've been wearing this from the time I got this. As a matter of fact, I used to gravitate towards Oud Aswad Shaghaf Oud Aswad the most. It smells heavenly, it smells very well-rounded, it smells very posh, expensive. This is a very, very noir perfume. So when they say Shaghaf Oud Aswad, it is literally like Shaghaf Oud Black or noir, you know. So expect this to be a very goth noir perfume. The oud in this is like super, super cold. If I can say so, this is colder than the Shaghaf Oud OG. So of course you do get your rose, saffron and oud, which is like the base of this perfume, which is constant. It opens a little fresh because it has that thyme and gives it that coolness and that little intrigue that aromatics give you. And then towards the end, the leather kicks in, which is animalic. Your earthy notes kick in, which is with the patchouli. And then in the end, it has like a lot of sweet notes like sandalwood, vanilla and musk. So this is again your traditional mukhallat that I was talking about. Mukhallat literally translates to blend, yeah. So mukhallat, that mukhallat blend, and then you have your added notes that I told you. That's how an Arabic perfume is usually composed. This is a very good example of that. Did I tell the rating for the other one? I forgot, didn't I? That's a 9 out of 10 in case I did not mention it. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. This is again a fall-winter perfume. The projection for this perfume is like 5 feet at least. Longevity 8+ hours again. And when I say 8+ hours, it's very rare. You'll hear me saying 7 hours, 8 hours, but I will not say 8+ hours. This means longevity is insane. And the presence again is very, very bold, very, very strong. The celebrity I had chosen for this one was Keanu Reeves as Constantine, and I stick to that. It's very like church mosque kind of incense in this. So you do need to like that part to appreciate this perfume. And this is definitely not a blind buy. As a matter of fact, all the OG Shaghaf Ouds are not blind buys. You need to try them out. The color perception for this is literally that matte black. The bottle how it is, it's exactly that same color. And the temperature for this is cold, chilly cold. The next one is the most unappreciated one, which is the Shaghaf Oud Abyed. Abyed is the color white, and you'll see most of them have the names of the colors. This is a very different perfume compared to the first two. Those were like very Arabic traditional blends. This one is a very, very masculine fragrance, so this is something I don't wear at all. Shaghaf Oud Abyed is a very woody, animalic oud because it has a very strong dose of leather. So this is supposed to be compared to Amouage Interlude Man. Actually, it does smell kind of like that, but this has like additional spices and stuff. This is like a very, very raw masculine fragrance. The top notes are oregano, pimento seeds and bergamot. Middle notes of myrrh, opopanax, amber, olibanum and citruses. And the base notes of smoke, oud, leather, sandalwood and patchouli. So it starts with your spices, your oregano, which is aromatic, and then you have your bergamot for the freshness. But what I actually smell from the beginning is that oud and leather coming in like strongly, along with these spices and aromatics. But in the middle, you have like a bunch of balsams, you have a lot of resins, all of that like add just slight little bit of sweetness, but it's not too sweet at all. In the middle, they've also added some citrus to give it that freshness, but it's not like a very citrusy perfume. But when you smell it, you definitely do smell aromatics and citrus and like combined with the animalic notes, which are of oud and leather. And in the base, you have like smoke, oud, leather, sandalwood and patchouli, which literally smells exactly what they have described. Smells like a smoky oud with leather, sandalwood and very earthy patchouli. I very much like this perfume. Like I wish Ali would wear this perfume, but he's not very fond of it because it's too animalic for him. Ali is the kind of person who likes to wear very, very fresh, airy perfumes. For him, this perfume is a little too raw animalic. To me, this is like an alpha male perfume. It's like the leader of the wolf pack. I've said this before. Like if a person wears this around me, I will get intimidated. Like I will, you know, whiplash with the head turn. It'll be one of those people that you'll actually look at, and definitely a person who's quite has a strong presence, even if they don't wear like fancy clothes or suits and stuff, but it's just their presence that intimidates you. It is dirty, it's obnoxious, but it's sexy at the same time. This is a very, very masculine fragrance. I don't think a woman can pull this off. I personally have never worn this on myself. The projection for this is again 4 to 5 feet. Longevity is 8+ hours. The presence again is super, super strong. For me, this is a 9 out of 10. It's a beautiful fragrance. For a guy, it's amazing. For girls, not so much. The celebrity I had chosen in this was Travis Fimmel as Ragnar. It's literally that wild personality he has in that. I think I made the perfect choice for this one. The color perception for this would be like a smoky grey. Although I do want to add some green to it because I don't know why it smells a little like wild. Let me see, I'll try to put the color for you, but if I find that right color that I'm imagining, it's like a greyish green, I'll try to put that for you because I don't know the names of the colors, I'm really bad at that. and the temperature for this is warm. The next is Shaghaf Oud Azraq. This bottle is the prettiest one of the lot. So gorgeous. It has this pearly or iridescent, no, it's not iridescent, it's like a pearly shine. Again, just like your Shaghaf Oud Aswad, this one also kind of intrigues me. It's unisex leaning masculine, but I wear this quite a bit on myself, especially for occasions, events and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I had worn a combination of this one and Oud Aswad during Beauty World Middle East. This is a sweet leathery wood. It's very, very sweet. It also has a honey note, which was very unique from the lot, you know. But the honey is not like stale or animalic. It's not a weird honey. It's a very beautiful, rich honey that when you actually first smell the honey, how it smells like, not the leftover taste of the honey or something. The top notes are honey and agarwood literally in the opening. So it's like your agarwood and honey, just imagine the smell together. So beautiful, right? In the middle you have cinnamon, amber and Madagascar vanilla. Again, more sweetness with the amber and Madagascar vanilla. And just a hint and just a touch of cinnamon, which honestly it's there, it's present, I can smell it, but it's not prominent at all. And in the base you have leather and patchouli, and this earthy patchouli is also very, very sweet. And then you have your little bit of leather note. The leather note in this is not intimidating at all. You will not feel overwhelmed with it, which is why I feel I can pull this off. If the leather was really strong in it, then I would be a little wary of this perfume. The leather in here is almost suede-like is what I'm trying to tell you. And weirdly enough, like I can just slightly smell like a hint of gunpowder kind of a thing in this. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but there is some kind of like a gunpowder, little bit of that smell. If you've smelt it, you know what it smells like. If Scorpio was a perfume, I had said it would smell like this. It's very mysterious, it's very intriguing. And the celebrity I had given to this was Prince Fazza. If you don't follow him, what are you doing? Just go and follow him and just... It's like the perfect prince, you know, the perfect Arabian prince. Like look at the color of the bottle. Like, think of this color. Smells like this color. That's the color perception, by the way. This is a 10 out of 10 perfume. The projection is about like 4 feet, I would say. And longevity A+ hours again. Like, all these perfumes are so good. They last so long, which is the beauty of Shaghaf Oud perfumes, right? And the presence again in this is very, very strong. And the temperature for this, I would say, is cool. Again, it's actually cold, not even cool. This is cold. So Shaghaf Oud Azraq was released along with its sister, which was a Shaghaf Oud Ahmar. So it has the same like pearlescent body, and this one is red, which is the color Ahmar. And this smells to me very similar to I Am Queen by Ardal Zafran. So it's like Herba Pura plus your, what was that perfume? Good Girl by Carolina Herrera. But there's certain things in this perfume that make me like the perfume, and one of those is the melon note in this, which is very, very prominent. The top notes are bergamot, iris, freesia, melon and peach. And you can really smell the melon along with that freshness of bergamot and this light bit of soft florals. That's the opening of it. And the peach is not the disturbing peach. It's not the peach that I don't like. It's not the powdery peach, and it's definitely not the fruit juice peach. But it is just rendering a little fruity sweetness to it. Then in the middle you have tonka, apple, rose and amber. Again, the apple not bothering me. You know me. Apple note is something that can trigger me like very badly. I just don't like it. So the notes in the middle, the tonka, amber, apple and rose, I don't understand how they make sense over here, because rose is definitely not prominent. As a matter of fact, I can't smell it at all. Neither can I smell the apple. But I can smell like hints of tonka and the sweetness of amber, the balsamic part of it. And in the base you have agarwood, sandalwood, amber, again, powdery musk and vanilla. Over here again agarwood, which is oud. Literally can't smell it. It's like non-existent. Might be existing over here as a woody note, and at some very, very mild woody note. So this one I would not even consider it to be a oud perfume, because I cannot smell the oud in this. But you do have your sandalwood, you have your powdery notes, musk, vanilla, which makes it slightly powdery, but at the same time it has like a certain creaminess about it as well. So I feel it's a very well-rounded perfume. I feel it's an elevated version of your Ardal Zafran's I Am Queen. And the beauty of this perfume is literally the melon note. If you have smelled this perfume, tell me if I'm right or not, because that melon note actually makes this perfume. It's gorgeous. Like, if this perfume did not have that melon note, and probably like they have changed certain things over here, that it's not going towards how Herba Pura kind of scents was smelling during those days, and I hated those. So I'm very glad that this did not go in that direction. This is a very, very feminine fragrance. I would give this an 8 out of 10. The projection is around 2 feet. The longevity I would say is like 7 to 8 hours. As a matter of fact, I would give it 8 hours. It definitely stays on you, but it doesn't project like crazy. So that's why I've given the projection 1 to 2 feet. And the presence of this perfume is also mild. The celebrity I've given over here is Margot Robbie, and I would stick to it. It's a very calm, well-mannered person. The color perception in my head, I don't know why, like a coral color is coming in my mind. It's definitely a fresher, brighter perfume. And the temperature for this is a very neutral temperature. We have 4 more to go. The next one was a release that I purchased it, and honestly a little bit was not happy with it because it does not smell. I didn't expect it to smell like this. This is Shaghaf Oud Royale. I wish this had that pearlescent thing going on, but it does not. I think they tried but didn't work. Anywho, what does this smell like? This smells like Oud for Greatness by Initio, or Oud for Glory by Badil Oud Latafa. It's the exact same perfume, maybe slightly better rounded than your Badil Oud for Glory. It's a woody spicy perfume, a very basic composition of your Middle Eastern woods. The top notes are saffron and lavender, middle notes of oud and nutmeg, and the base notes of musk and patchouli. So it's woody, it's earthy, it's cold, it does have that slightly animalic oud, but it also has like a little bit of aromatics with lavender and spice of nutmeg. It's a very simple perfume, and the reason why I was not very impressed is because I didn't expect this to release so many years after the OG was released. So I was a little bit disappointed. What I do like in this perfume, however, is that the lavender is quite prominent compared to the other two, which makes the smell slightly modern compared to the OG. Think of a combination of oud, saffron and lavender, how it would smell like, and then add like a whole lot of sweet patchouli to it. That's how it smells like. It's a very basic perfume. I mean, maybe for everybody else it'll smell very complicated, very complex, very sophisticated perfume, because that oud in this is a gorgeous oud, by the way. You do need to like a slightly animalic oud to appreciate this perfume though. Also, you need to really like patchouli to appreciate this perfume, because this has a very dirty but sweet patchouli. So this to me was, I do love the perfume. It is, but I will never give it 10 out of 10 because I was just a little disappointed. Why does it smell exactly like, or almost like the other one, right? So 9 out of 10 for this one. This is unisex, exactly unisex. So it can go either or depending on who wears it. The projection for this is around 4 to 5 feet. Longevity 8+ hours. It's insane. I'm telling you, this is just the Badil Oud, like a little elevated. I haven't written any celebrity over here, but like I'm just thinking of somebody who is testing out like Middle Eastern stuff for the first time. So Lawrence of Arabia came to mind. So Peter O'Toole. The color perception, I would say, would be a slightly darker green than this. Like I love the green that they've chosen because it does smell kind of like this, but I would choose like a much darker and colder green for the color perception. The presence is again very strong, and the temperature for this is cold. The saffron lavender together is like cold already, very cold. Plus the patchouli is also very sweet and cold in this one. Next we have two which completely change the face of Shaghaf Oud. Okay, not change the face, but this one, Shaghaf Oud Elixir. This is your traditional gourmand oud with very sweet notes and a strange coldness in it in the background, which just makes it a little happier, a little less dark, this is like the little sister of Shaghaf Oud OG. They say that this smells like Shaghaf Oud OG, which it does, with like a lot of changes, and it smells like Noir de Noir. I wouldn't agree that it smells like Noir de Noir. It has some kind of potion like Noir de Noir, but this smells to me more like Shaghaf Oud, but it is just more pleasant to smell. It's easier to wear, it's calmer, it's softer. The top notes are saffron, oud and pink pepper. Middle notes of rose, praline, oud and sage, and then in the base you have oud, vanilla, amber and musk. So it's a lot more complicated than the OG, which was a very basic oud, rose and vanilla praline smell. This on the other hand just has that added spices and sage, that aromatic sage. So it's really gorgeous. I honestly, when I smell this one, I kind of stopped wearing the OG. This is a 10 out of 10. Let me just get that out of the way because this is like love at first sniff. Again, I smelled this and I was like, wow. And it was just such a drastic improvement on the OG, but I like the way that they call it Shaghaf Oud Elixir, although I don't think they meant to like make this like an intense version or elixir version of the OG. It does have that OG DNA with like a lot of other things. So I do appreciate this one more. So if you ask me, Simin, which one would you choose if you had to purchase it just one of these, I would go for the Elixir for sure. This is feminine. I would not call this unisex. I would call this like a unisex fragrance, but I know people over here, they still wear it. Men can pull it off for sure, but my classification for it would be feminine. The projection for this is like 2 to 3 feet. Longevity again 8 hours. It's fall winter. It smells kind of like naughty and but classy at the same time. That's why the celebrity I have written over here for was Salma Hayek, and I think that's perfect. The presence for this perfume again is like strong. I would say it's not as strong as the OGs, but it's strong enough. And the color perception for this, I would call it like a cold maroon color, a cold burgundy as a matter of fact, not maroon. And the temperature for this would be cool. Not cold, cool. The next is the Shaghaf Oud Tonka, which I was quite obsessed with. Probably like the most used one out of all of them, because when I got this, I was already quite obsessed with BDK's Velvet Tonka, and I just fell in love with this. Let me tell you one thing about this perfume. If you don't like Tonka and almond combination, because this has like a very, like, you know, that chemically almond and Tonka combination kind of smells like fresh toys. I don't want to call it Play-Doh, but yeah, it does kind of smell like Play-Doh. It's one of those almonds. You need to really like that to appreciate this perfume. And the second thing is, it took it forever to mature. When I bought this, initially, I fell in love with it. I was like, I'm happy with it because it was like a basic Tonka vanilla with like very less sweetness, and I was using this to layer it with everything. If I wanted to elevate a perfume, I was just spraying this onto, along with that perfume, to elevate that perfume. As time passes by, it kind of matures and you can start smelling the other notes, which I will tell you now. The top notes are almond, middle notes are cinnamon bark, Tunisian orange flower and Turkish rose, and the base notes are Tonka vanilla and amberwood. So initially I was just getting the top and base notes, but the middle notes of cinnamon bark, Tunisian orange flower and Turkish rose were quite like muted, invisible, and till date I can barely smell them, but they're coming in like a cold, sweet and slightly spicy vibe. But it's so mild. Like, I would literally say it's mild enough to be like 2% of the entire perfume composition. So yeah, don't expect like that orange flower and the rose to come in heavily. There is not. You need to layer it with more floral perfumes if you want to really appreciate this perfume. I personally wear this all the time to office. I wear this when I casually go out. It just smells like a very elevated Tonka almond vanilla fragrance. And if you want to smell like Tonka vanilla and almond, go for it. For me, this is a 10 out of 10. Easy. Very feminine. A guy can, however, pull this off, but to me, feminine. I would rather wear this during fall and winter, but you know what? I've been wearing this all throughout the year in the Dubai heat of like 50 degrees plus Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So I'm cool with wearing this like all year round. The projection for this, unfortunately, is like just like 1.5 feet. It barely projects. Longevity, however, is decent. It's 7 hours, I would say. It starts getting very faint, so you do need to top it off regularly. There's no Middle Eastern vibe in this compared to all the other ones that I told you. Shaghaf Oud Ahmar was one that did not have the Middle Eastern vibe, and this is another one that does not have Middle Easternness. All the other Shaghaf Ouds are very Middle Eastern. The celebrity I chose for this was Blake Lively, especially because of this color and because of the copper, if this cap was copper, the dress she had worn in the Met Gala, I think. I'll put the picture for you. And the color perception, I would say, is like an almond, but the greyish almond color. I'll try to put that color for you. I don't know what it's called. The presence for this is very soft, and the temperature for this again is cool, not cold but cool. Now last but not the least is the latest release, which is called Vanilla Toffee. Is this one. I had received this from them when I had gone to Beauty World Middle East, and they had given me Tobacco 01 and they had given me this. Now initially when I smelled this perfume, I was not very fond of it, but consider this as a maceration update as well, or maturation update. Even I personally, I don't know how it smells like. When I sprayed it out the last time, I was still getting that very synthetic, stale, strange note of almost burnt sugar, very burnt sugar. I'll tell you like what it composes of and what I smell. The top notes for this are buttery toffee and Arabic coffee. Middle notes of walnut pastry, date milk, vanilla, cardamom, and the base notes of Madagascar vanilla caviar, brown sugar, benzoin, tonka bean, musk, and woods. So when you consider this perfume, please do not go with the name vanilla toffee. It's not going to smell like eclair, it's not going to smell like Bianco latte, it's not going to smell like anything like a basic gourmand. This is a very complex perfume They have used very rich notes in this. Like if you go through the notes like buttery, toffee and Arabic coffee in the opening itself, the Arabic coffee is literally bitter. So you have the sweetness of that buttery toffee, but that bitter Arabic coffee kind of like balances out the sweetness. The toffee note literally stays only for a little while in the opening. Now remember I told you like there's this portion of the perfume that I need to go through which does not sit well with me. It has reduced quite a bit, but it's not completely gone away. Like I've literally written over your 0 to 1 minute mark, you hit pure toffee scent, like the one you chew on, the toffee that you chew on. But 1 minute to 5 minutes, there's this earthy smell, which I've written over here. It smells like extremely burnt black sugar. So if you, the black sugar completely did not caramelize, I'm not talking about it burned to like ash. You know that smell that would come from the pot? It's that smell. It's like literally when it becomes like a crisp and it's like throw that pan down. You can't clean that. It's a bitter but sweet smell. It's at 0 to 5 minute mark. Now that part of the perfume, it really bothers me, and unfortunately it's not gone away. And although I really want to like this perfume, I know a lot of people bought the perfume with the expectation that was going to smell like vanilla toffee, and it did not. It's a very different kind of perfume. Some people were disappointed, some people were super impressed that it's a very, very complex gourmand for a change, because we are getting too many basic gourmands of late, right? So you need to have these things in mind. Like over here, like middle notes of walnut pastry, date milk, vanilla cardamom, very, very strange complex notes. And then you have in the base very, very sweet dark notes, because you have your Madagascar vanilla, which you know is a darker vanilla, your brown sugar, benzoin, tonka, woods and musk. Now after like, let's say not even 5 minutes, let's say around after 20 minutes, the perfume starts settling down and you start smelling what you are intended to smell. It's definitely very, very complex, and I know maybe in a while that little bitter smell that I get is going to dissipate and I will start appreciating this perfume. Maybe I need to spray out a lot, so I'm going to do that. Like maybe on the weekend I'll just go outside and just spray it out a little bit and then let it like mature a little bit more. To my nose, this is a very, very unisex fragrance. It's serious enough and the notes are just like done right that either or can wear it. It's not a cutesy girly girl gourmand, don't be mistaken. The projection is insane. It's 3 to 4 feet and the longevity is definitely 8+ hours. This will not go away. You need to wash it off, only then it'll go away. The rating for me for this one, I would say right now, initially I'd given it an 8 out of 10. Unfortunately, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 right now. It's because I don't see myself. It's cold now and I was waiting for this weather to kick in so that I can try this perfume again. I will not be able to wear it. So 7.5, just because it's a very unique, very like sophisticated, strange perfume that a lot of people will appreciate. I'm just not one of them. And the celebrity I've written over here is Lucifer Safin Bond villain. You know, the Lucifer Safin played by Rami Malek. Like, I'm like, okay, that guy would probably smell like that. Very strange, very mysterious, you know. The presence of this perfume again is very, very strong, and the color perception for this would be like a dark coffee brown. And the temperature for this is warm. Middle Eastern vibe again in this one is barely. If you think of Arabic coffee smell to be Middle Eastern, then yes, it's Middle Eastern. So that's all the Shaghaf Oud perfumes I have. There were, how many are there? 9 perfumes. So I hope I've not missed any, because I'll kick myself like later if I've somehow missed, because I've shuffled them around before. They all were kept together. So if there's any one which is missing over here, like I feel like they've like almost covered all the colors, because they have like, yeah, they have every color, but they don't have like pink and peach. So maybe like some girly perfumes like in future, I don't know. And they also don't have orange. So but yeah, like brighter colors are not there, and brown is not there. Okay, there are a lot of colors which are not there. They still have a lot of options to make. So I'm actually looking forward to which Shaghaf Oud perfumes comes next. The only one that I'm not very content with is the new one, the vanilla toffee. Otherwise, I'm obsessed with all of them. Like, they're beautiful perfumes. Maybe the Shaghaf Oud Royale also is something which I don't really gravitate towards. But the rest of them, very unique, very obsession-inducing perfumes. I hope this will help you understand all the Shaghaf Ouds better, the differences between all of them. Like, I wish I could make a chart and just tell you the differences, but it doesn't work like that with perfumes, you know. But I hope this helps you to some extent to make your purchase decisions easier. You know what's weird? When I was dressing up, I thought these earrings are gonna look really cool on me. But when I'm looking at myself in the monitor, I look like I would be a creature from Star Wars, like a fish, you know, with these. And I'm like, why did you do that? You know, should have kept it very, very simple. So yeah, these earrings probably I'm not gonna wear again, because it does make me look like a creature from Star Wars. So that's it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.